Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's Tara here. It's very nice to see you all back. This week I've got a med school video for you guys all about my top 5 interview tips, but first make sure you click like and subscribe. I interviewed for RCSI in February of 2018. It was the only school I interviewed for. So tip number 1. Tip number 1 is to practice. And I know that this seems like the most obvious thing that anyone will ever say about interviewing anywhere, whether it's for a job, for med school, for university, anything. My number 1 tip is still to practice. And in particular, practice with somebody who's going to ask you terrible, like audacious, off the wall, you think in your brain, there's no anyone's gonna ask that questions. For me, that person is my dad, but my dad would ask me absolutely outrageous questions. He vexes me so much when we practice because in my brain, I'm like, there's no way anyone's gonna ask that. And to date, no one in an interview has asked any of the questions that he's asked me. However, when they ask me a question that I'm unprepared for, I feel very prepared because he's prepared me for all the questions that I would consider myself unprepared for. Tip number 2 is to know your resume, CV, cover letter, personal statement, whatever you have submitted to the school, know those inside and out. They have read them. They are going to ask you about what's on your CV, resume, personal statement. They're going to ask you about what's in them. So make sure that you know what's in them. Make sure that the last time you read your personal statement wasn't the day before you submitted it to med school. Make sure that it was the morning of your interview, that you're going through it and you're saying, okay, I wrote this for this reason. I'm writing about this experience for this reason, so that you know exactly what they're gonna ask you about, because they're gonna pull the questions from your resume, personal statement, cover letter. They're also gonna have some standardized questions. Most med schools ask you, why do you wanna be a doctor? What draws you to our school? Things like that. Tip number 3 is do your research. What do I mean by that? I would research the school itself, know its history, know any relevant news that's come up recently. I believe I brought up the fact that they had just built this brand new library for us and kind of how it was exciting and a huge draw as a student. But know what's going on at the school that you're applying to, because they could have just got a huge research grant, or they could have just been in the news recently for work that one of the doctors was doing at their hospitals. What I did was I looked up who the director of the graduate medicine program was on LinkedIn and kind of got to know them a little bit online. Like, I knew a little bit about them. So then when one of them happened to be in my interview, but I'd looked her up on LinkedIn beforehand, so I knew who she was and I knew what she did, but I had that history to go off of, to know who she was, to know the school, all of those things. Tip number 4 is to ask questions. Have questions prepared, but also be thinking of questions as you're going through the interview. I would say that the interview is almost as much about you interviewing the school as the school is interviewing you. You have to know if you're going to be a good fit at the school you've applied to. Maybe in the interview you learn, that was something I didn't know about the school because I asked this question. Maybe I'm not gonna be such a good fit here. And the interviewers will see that you're trying to make sure that you will be a good fit at their school. Also, the questions that you ask shouldn't be things that you can find on the FAQ page of their website. They should be insightful things generally related to your situation. Like, I remember I asked, how much experience do you guys have with students of non-traditional backgrounds? Because I'd read a little bit online about RCSI having some experience with students like me who had come from very different backgrounds, but at the same time, I didn't really get all the answers I was looking for online, and I asked some questions that were more pertinent to my specific situation. And I think that that is extremely important. Like, I can't put through enough the importance of asking questions. And then tip number 5, and I think this is probably the most important tip, is to be yourself. And again, this seems like a really obvious one, but they're going to see right through you trying to be whoever you think that they want you to be accepted to the school. It's important that you're yourself because then you're the most genuine version of you, and they will see that. They'll see your genuine interests. and your genuine passion for medicine. If you're fake or you're trying to be something that you think the school wants you to be, they're gonna see right through that. So thank you so much for coming to this video. I hope that you liked it. If you did, please click the like button, click subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications when I post new videos, new Tunes with Tara every single Sunday, and IMG tales just like this one coming to you on Wednesdays. Oh, and leave me a comment down in the comment section below for your interview tips or any questions that you have for me about my interview experience. I hope that you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!